Like and subscribe if you love horror. All he had to do was press play, and he could put this whole silly thing behind him. Then he would focus on apologizing to the elders. As much as he told himself there was no voice on that recording, and it would prove it, he couldn't force himself to press the button. Are you okay? Am asked, watching and waiting for their brother to act. I'm scared, but you know that. He just stood there. I need you to listen to this. I need to know if it's all in my head. Do you want me to do it? They asked. Could you? He asked in response. Am walked up, rewound the recorder to the beginning of the file, and pressed play. The whole conversation started over, a game of cat and mouse trying to encourage the truth out of Parisia. Eventually, her confession came, followed by her anger. Then, an agonizingly long pause, far longer than Percy remembered. Perhaps that moment of open air was only a second long, but it dragged on like nails on a chalkboard. Then came the voice. That is quite enough, little one. Percy fell back on his ass, collapsing in an instant. Who was in the room with you? Am asked dumbly. They fought to help him up. Percy's eyes locked with Am's as he flinched. He turned pale and shook violently. Am's question hung it all. They too heard Simon. Simon was real. The voice was real. Again, Percy wet himself, his full bladder bursting forth, much to Am's dismay. They looked down at their brother, terrified, unsure of what to do. Percy, stay with me. They watched as a light faded from their brother's eyes, and could tell he was passing out. Breathe, buddy, come on. They encouraged him to stay present, and got down on the floor with them, allowing their purple coat to lay in his piss. Buck up, stay with me now. Talk to me, Percy. Tell me who that was. Am's mind ran wild with the possibilities. Had someone assaulted Parisia in front of Percy? Who was the voice, and why was Percy so afraid of them? There were so many unanswered questions between the two siblings. Am was so busy trying to keep her brother conscious that they didn't hear the rest of the recording. As silence fell between them and Percy began to breathe steadily, Am heard Simon speak again. Every time I try, I never get past this part. Humans always get so fussy when children kill children. So let me try something unorthodox. Why don't we make a deal, Dr. Percy? What can I offer you to change your mind about my relationship with Parisia? Simon's voice shook, Am to their core, though for the life of them they couldn't say why. Simon, Percy eked out in a rasping whisper. Ignoring the recording, Am refocused on their brother. Who is Simon? There was a pause, Percy trembling violently. Percy, who is Simon? Am asked again. A demon, he replied. Am brought their brother home in silence. He stayed awake the whole time, but he was miles away. Even when they tried to coax him to speak, he gave flippant responses or provided dejected grumbles. When they stopped at his house, he refused to get out of the car, and Am had to retrieve his clothing and toiletries. Am was a marketing rep and had a nice townhouse they could bring him to if they managed to finally pry him up. He'd become so drunk and despondent, it was difficult to drag him down the row of housing where they'd parked. Eventually, with enough pushing, pulling, and coaxing, they got him through the door of their foyer. There, they plopped him down, giving his cheek a few taps to keep him focused. I'm honestly not sure if I should pour you another drink or a mug of coffee. Am abandoned their brother for a moment, heading down the hallway to their kitchen. They retrieved a cold pot of coffee and poured a mug. Sometimes when you're this drunk, it's best to just keep going till you pass out. Percy grumbled in response, lost in his own thoughts for a moment. Something occurred to him. Am was taking the idea of a demon so flippantly. To Percy, this meant they decided he was a lunatic. Am came back to the foyer and began pulling their brother to stand him up. Begrudgingly, he got to his feet. After that, it was a fight to half drag him upstairs into the bathroom. I expect you can get your clothes off and dump yourself in the shower like a grown damn man, they asked as they continued to pull. You heard him too, Percy croaked out. We'll talk about that once you're clean and sober. They forced a mug of coffee to his lips. Hesitantly, he took it and began sipping, making a face the whole time. Now get yourself in that shower or I'll hose you down like a damn convict. They pushed him through the door and closed it behind them. They heard him clumsily banging around, but in a moment the shower started. Percy sat on a stool in a red velvet bathrobe across a marble-top kitchen island from his sibling. He had a look of a child that had been scolded. He was not entirely sober, and the coffee he drank did little more than give his drunkenness energy. Who is Simon? Am finally asked. What does it matter? Percy shrunk in on himself and sipped his cold coffee. They weren't going to let him just brush them off. Who was in that room with you and that child? He simply shrugged. I already told you. I know, a demon. Am crossed their arms and sat back, waiting for further illumination. What do you want me to say? Percy placed his coffee on the table and folded his hands in his lap. At any moment, he was expecting Am to make fun of him or chide him. Internally, they wanted to poke fun at him, but they knew this was serious and focused. Right now, there is something manipulating a little girl, and regardless of what you believe that thing is or isn't, she needs our help. Her parents need our help. Their tone was deadly serious and hinted at disappointment. You say it's a demon? Fine. Does that mean we call a priest or do we take this mother head on? You can't be serious. He had no idea how to respond to that, even if he wasn't sure of his own world at this point. Even he wasn't sure of his own world at this point. What could he even do? As a heart attack, they firmed up. Percy, she needs your help, and I'll know you'll never forgive yourself if you let her down. You were already on the edge about her a day ago. You can't give up on her now. Shit, you can't give up on yourself now. An invisible force that claimed to be a demon just tried to buy my loyalty and threatened to kill me if I didn't sell. He held his hands out. I have no idea what to do, who to call, or where to even begin. I say we confront the bastard. Am leaned forward on the kitchen island. We? Percy was now real confused. I'm not letting you do this alone, they answered defiantly. My little brother needs me, and I'm going to be there for him. You know anything about this is a massive breach of everything about this is a massive breach in patient confidentiality, he explained at first, and said, and aside from that, what the hell do either of us know about demons? I don't even know where to start. Well, you can start by contacting the parents, Am suggested. They had Percy's cell phone and slid it across the countertop. He picked it up. The moment it was in his grip, his hands began to tremble again, and he became paralyzed with fear. Percy felt about 3 inches tall. The idea of calling them felt like an iron anvil on his chest. The last time he saw the elders, he was cowering in a pool of his own urine. That was right before he abandoned their daughter and refused to answer their phone calls. For a moment, confronting them felt almost as terrifying as confronting Simon. The former carried far more guilt than the latter. I'm with you, was all they said as they watched their brother.